Hi. I want to explain something and give a feeling of something mostly about what it feels like to work with agents, and particularly agents in this example that can do multiple things in parallel. Because that's kind of like what's happening right now, and this is happening particularly in code. But I want to think about how can that apply to things that are not code. But to give a feeling of it, I'm going to show what that looks like and feels like in code. So this is Claude Code. It is something that engineers use on the terminal. The terminal is just where we type stuff. It's all very geeky, but it doesn't really matter. So I've given Claude Code access to our website, the Simply Put website, which has a front end with text and a back end with a little bit of code. So I'm going to ask it to do a bunch of stuff in parallel, which is very interesting because you can kick off these agents in parallel, kick off a whole bunch of them to do stuff at the same time. So let's try that. Claude, can you analyze for consistency and clarity the front-end code, the back-end code, and the user-facing writing in three parallel with double L tasks. Okay, so it's going to do a bunch of stuff now. It's going to understand the question, etc. So the first thing to understand is that the models have been trained to be able to use tools. And tool use is things like I can read a file, I can call an API, I can do a lot of things, right? And they are just getting better and better at it. They've also been trained, particularly the Claude model, at doing things in parallel. So what we see here now is there are three tasks happening, and each task is doing things at the same time. So think of it as like it's three people, interns, as they say, just happily working. So the first one is doing the front-end code, the second one is doing the back-end code, and the third one is doing the user-facing content analysis. And they are looking for files, and they're reading files, and all that kind of good stuff. This is going to take a while, right? Because, opening a file, it just takes them some time. So there's a lot of thinking going on there and a lot of stuff, and it's all kind of happening. Now, this all looks very matrixy, right? Let's not worry about this. Forget about this screen. Let's think about what does it mean for any kind of knowledge worker to be able to to tell an AI to kick off a whole bunch of tasks in parallel. You could do this takes a while, so you could do this before you go home. I actually have a meeting in 10 minutes, and you could come back the next morning and it would all be done. And you'd say like, thanks guys. You could kick off hundreds of tasks, thousands of tasks. It all costs money, but not that much money. AI is kind of like not that cheap, not that expensive, and you can make it pretty cheap if you're a little smart about it. So forget this UI. We can make this a friendly, easy to use UI for specific tasks, and think about the kinds of tasks that people do, the grunt work, the boring tasks, etc. That take a lot of time, and you could just send all these agents off doing it at the same time. Now, what's interesting, right? Why am I showing you this weird terminal UI? Because here's my thought. There's this saying that complex systems that work only work when they start from simple systems that work. And there's a lot of sales going on right now, a lot of like agent sales and this and that and blah, blah, blah. And oh, here we go, it's done. Actually, let's go back to this and I'll finish up. So what's happened? It's done three tasks, this one, and this one. Each of them has used a bunch of tools and a bunch of tokens, and it's taken a bunch of time, 2 minutes, 2 minutes, etc. That's all done. Now it's telling us, okay, the front-end code's looking pretty good. Here's some stuff that needs to get done. The back-end code, this is what it looks like. It's even giving us a score. And the content is good, but there's a few typos, like threads needs to have an 8. Like, oh shit, typo. Some punctuation, etc. So, it's all pretty good. So it's done all this. The feeling of it, if you are an engineer and you're starting to use these tools, because you can customize this a lot. The feeling of it is you feel like a powerful power user, and you just have all these like incredible tools at your fingertips, right? And if that feeling can be the feeling of a knowledge worker also, who's not a coder, that's pretty cool, right? But just to go back to I think it's Gans law, which is complex systems only work if they evolve from simple systems that work. I think the reason that the one place where this agent stuff is working right now is not in big enterprise implementations, but it's in coders and engineers working with very simple command line things and very tiny little Lego block tools as they are used to, kind of figuring this out themselves is exactly because of that insight. It's because workflows are complex and human work is complex, even though it seems maybe simple and easy to automate. And people have to figure this out little bit by little bit, and that's what's happening now in the engineering world. And I think that is going to, over the next few years, slowly make its way into the more knowledge management, regular people world. So I wanted to share this. This is pretty cool. This is one of the reasons why engineers are so excited about all this stuff.